I prepared an introductory talk to the other speakers. I work from IBM in the energy and utility sector. I'm part of the Global Competence Center, and I'm focusing on blockchain. So next slide, please. Blockchain is very important, and we see a lot of potential. We as IBM are not so much involved in cryptocurrency. We are more into the other applications of supporting transactions on a blockchain kind of fabric. We are heavily involved in the open source Hyperledger project from the Linux Foundation, and we strongly believe that it holds a promise for other applications than cryptocurrencies, and energy being one of the fields. So, and if we look to the next slide, so in a lot of traditional markets, we had a notion as integrated utilities. So that company generates, transmits, distributes your energy, and you hold your contract with that energy company. Due to European legislation and also in other parts of the world, there is now a deregulation going on, and that results in an unbundled market. And then you see the different functions in the utility network resides in different companies, and with different optimizations, with their own steering. And as also explained with the previous speaker, new distributed energy resources like solar panels, also wind generation, creates new sources of energy. So you see in the energy transition, so new local generated energy being organized into virtual power plants, mostly to get access to the wholesale market, and microgrids for those communities who want to be independent of the grid. And in my talks with utilities throughout Europe, I see use cases in all those different aspects of the grid. So, and one of the things I showed is because I want to understand of the other speakers, where do they address the use case in this whole new value chain? And how does it affect and how does it change? Because there are a lot of possibilities for optimization, a lot of improvements, and I'm very keen to learn how you can do a permissionless solution in a system of systems where you have access to a limited infrastructure, which you have to contract with a retailer anyway. Yeah. So next slide. And basically, if I look at blockchain, there are three types of use cases. You can improve the current mechanisms, like wholesale, like settlement, like mandate management. You can extend the grid. That's not currently possible now for the microgrids, for electrical vehicle charging, which is really a challenge in the current grid setup, or disrupt it for peer-to-peer energy trading, or perhaps the talk we heard a minute ago. In all those three cases, the solution needs to address three parts. The technical part, how to fix it, and we just heard we need to run software on the smart meters, or we need to have an appliance to do the measurement. You have some market issues, your trading back and forth, and then the governance. Either you need a permit or a waiver for the current regulation, or you need to interact with the regulator to change legislation in order to implement a radically new solution. So, and as I'm focusing more on blockchain than on cryptocurrencies, I see an uptake in the press. So there is a hype building. One is, I forgot the source of this one. Bloomberg, I think it is. So there are, and everyone is speculating on how value can be generated if you apply blockchain to the grid, and decentralization is on the top of the mind of the most people. So, and if you go to the next slide, yeah, it's another one. Yeah, and we expect the blockchain type of technologies and the use cases will really revolutionize the electricity. So, and one of the things that I think are very interesting to watch is the emerging markets, because they don't have a grid with all the history and all the equipment and all for 50, 60 years of age. So they leapfrog of an approach. Yeah? And one of the approaches is the off-grid solar market. I have nothing to do with it, but I stumble on it, and I'm very interested to learn how they implement their energy sources. And if we go to the next slide, they have in that same study, it says how much energy you want to use and what applications you can run. Yeah? And we're on the high-end side, yeah, in the Netherlands, and the US is even on the chart, how much energy you use. Yeah? So I expect from those markets to have really radical ideas of how to build energy supply to individual users. Yeah? If you go to the next slide. So, and it's not a one-party story. Yeah? You need to build an ecosystem. There is a whole value chain to be built with multiple parties involved. Yeah? And this can be used as a checklist, yeah, to see if you propose a system, yeah, what parts are you missing, or what parts are you addressing. Yeah? Well, that's, yeah. If we go to the next slide. So the challenges, so I bought this picture from Duurzaam Geproduceerd. It depicts the aging infrastructure that in the West is currently in place, yeah, which is a challenge on itself. And currently, if we're rolling out now smart meters, yeah, so in the Netherlands there are 2 million smart meters already installed. If you want to change something, that's a huge impact. Yeah? So we need to deal with the different aging of technology in the grid. Yeah? And some parts date back 60 years ago. Yeah? So the challenges for blockchain application in energy, so questions might be how to improve the current system, yeah? Or how to support a renewable generation, so one example before, and how to deal with the aging grid. And that was my setting for the talks for tonight. Yeah?
Can we get those slides from all the presenters?
If Richard shares them on the website, I'm fine. Yeah, they will be available.
Cool.
So, and last but not least, I don't know if anyone heard about clean disruption by a US professor, Tony Seba. And he correlates the exponential effects of price reduction in solar, wind and battery, and the uplift of technology like blockchain and self-driving cars having a big impact on the grid and energy usage.
Okay, questions I suppose. One over there? Yeah, prima.
How does IBM see like a market in this? What's going to be their business model to invest time and money in Hyperledger kind of projects?
Okay, so IBM is interested in Hyperledger, as explained in the quote that I started off. Our activities are to drive a universal blockchain fabric that can be used in multiple industries. Therefore, it's open source, and we are very happy that a lot of companies are backing it. We have our cloud offering, so you can do your own self-paced training on blockchain on Blooming's Cloud. Currently, you have a free developer environment. You can look at the pre-canned demos that we have, and you can build your own small blockchain network to experiment with your own software. And we have services. So if you automate a value chain on the blockchain, the current legacy system need to interact with the blockchain. And there's a lot of work involved in that part. So, yeah.
What is the decentralization bit in there? You mentioned the cloud. The cloud is not decentralized.
So if you want to run parts of the blockchain, you can run it in-house. Yeah? So you're on your own premise. But more and more companies use cloud-based services. And the Hyperledger is open source, and we expect other cloud providers to run the Hyperledger software as well. So when you design a whole value system and you want to become part of it, yeah, it's a permissioned solution as we propose. So first you have your business contracts, and then you have your design process of your blockchain. And where the validator nodes are running and where your blockchain nodes are running is one of the design criteria. And as more cloud providers run those Hyperledger software, you have your own choice. Does it answer the question? Okay.
No more questions? Then I'd like to continue.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Have a